In our current clothing culture, we are hugely disassociated with the human and planetary ecosystems that clothing and textiles are dependent on. The project served as a proposed reality of knowing the ingredients of our clothing, how and where they were made, and the value chain involved in their cultivation. It is a narrative of regional and regenerative fiber systems coming together to form artifacts to live in. My research began with immersing myself into the surroundings of Odsherred. One thing that becomes apparent quite quickly is that in Odsherred, nature is abundant. From fields to forests to the coast, one is never too far from the elements. I witnessed the changing of seasons from winter to spring. I looked out upon the waves, frozen in motion, and the organic oceanic forms left behind on the shore. Earthy colours and organic lines paint the landscape of this quaint region. I seek to unravel the natural resources available, possible interrelationships between communities and local industries, points of inspiration, and the needs people may have in relation to their clothing. Up until now, my role as a garment designer has ultimately been to transform fabric into a design. In this project, however, I saw the opportunity to challenge this role and to trace and instigate the journey of a garment from raw natural fibre to fabric to final garment. The traditional craft of felting came to my attention, an ancestral craft passed down through generations. I was inspired to experiment with the technique of wet felting using the wool of local Spelsau sheep. The natural colours of the wool were so beautiful that I chose to work with undyed fibres. The organic shapes and patterns that formed in and around Odsherred's landscape became translated and embedded into my felting process. The distinct smell of the wool, becoming familiar with the texture of the wool in its different phases, the sound of the bamboo mat being rolled with the wool cocooned inside, resulted in an immersive and tactile experience that captured my senses. The design for the vest came about from the intention to work with a simple yet functional design that would be suitable for the region's climate and translate well into felted wool. After a process of pattern making, toiling, and adjusting, I decided that making the vest as seamless as possible would be best suited to the felting process. The making of the vest was incredibly laborious and went through processes of carding, laying out the fibre, pre-felting with water and soap, sanding, rolling, and washing. Being in touch with every stage of the process, from farm to fabric to final garment, was a rewarding experience that helped me understand the possibilities of the craft of felting in terms of technically and aesthetically durable design. I explored many questions such as how many layers of wool are needed for the garment to be warm and weighty but not too heavy. How might one honour old craft but engage with the boundaries between traditional and contemporary through colours, patterns and techniques? The project reveals the possibilities of locally sourced, designed, and made garments, and asks what are the possibilities of creating fibre systems that are rooted in regional distinctiveness, natural regenerative resources, and thriving symbiotic value chains. The artefact presents a glimpse into this reality and may very well point to our shared future.